Hi, let's do the null factor law for solving quadratic equations. So I should note that in high school this law is mostly used for quadratic equations, but it can also be used on other equations that apply. Now consider this: you're multiplying two expressions, say x and y, then you get a 0. So this law simply tells us what to expect. It's a type of identity. So it's saying when I multiply two things and I get a 0, then at least one of this must be a 0. So this leads us to three possibilities. The first one is that x is equal to 0, because when you say 0 times y, you get 0. Then another possibility is that y is equal to 0, or both of them are equal to 0. Now this is straightforward, very straightforward. So any number multiplied by 0 gives you a 0. So this is what is captured by this null factor law. So that's just a fancy name for this type of scenario here. Null meaning 0, factor meaning the expressions that you multiply. Now I should point out that when you say x equal to 0 or y is equal to 0, it's enough. Now let's look at an example to understand this. Say you have this equation and I ask you to solve for x. So how do you go about doing this? Well, most learners are probably going to divide every term by x and then be left out with x equal to -1. Well, that's partly true. But the thing is, you're going to lose another solution. So let's look at how we can apply this null factor law. So if you listen to this, you need factors, right? So we first have to factorize our quadratic equation. So we write it down, then we factorize. Now we have two factors. It's x and then another one is x plus 1. Now we apply the null factor law. Because we are multiplying x and x plus 1, then either one of them must be 0, so that you get 0 as the answer towards the right. So then it means x equal to 0 or x plus 1 is equal to 0. Then from there you just solve this one. Now you have two solutions as we expect, because this is a quadratic equation. Let's look at another example. So this is a standard example you'll find in high school. So you have x squared minus 9. So we realize this is a difference of two squares, right? Then we can just easily factorize it into x minus 3 and x plus 3. These are two factors. Then either of them must be equal to 0 so that this equation is true. You apply the null factor law. Then you solve for x as necessary. Then you're done. Very straightforward. These are the exercises for you to try.